everybody and welcome back. Today I did the reference ride to see how the last type of the interval training turned out. So telling from the podcast episode title, you're probably asking if it is either 25 seconds faster or 25 seconds slower. Before I answer that question, let me talk about how today's ride started. From yesterday to today, the temperature has fallen from around 27 degrees to only 20 degrees. Furthermore, a strong wind is blowing through the valley. Today's ride, I started way too fast. So right from the beginning, where I'm riding around 200 meters on a road connecting the cycle path to my home, there are already rushed too fast, and also on the cycle path, I felt like something wasn't right. The last time I did the reference ride, it felt way smoother. And the same thing happened on the first few meters of the uphill, which is still on the tarmac road. I pushed way too hard, as I thought it would go as easy as it was going the last time. And once I was in that rhythm, I didn't want to stop, as I felt like I could push at that pace until reaching the end of the trail. I was riding the whole ride at a pace I couldn't really keep up with, but still could ride out until the end. And after the first steeper section of the tarmac road, there is a connecting road from the village to the restaurant where the forest road is starting. The road is way flatter than the road before. Not even there I could recover from the previous fast pacing. As the last time, I felt like Superman when I was riding that section, because it was so easy and I could ride it at such a high speed I would have never imagined before. Also, just right before the forest road starts, I have to ride through the parking lot of the restaurant, which is almost one of the steepest sections of the whole tour. And also there it didn't quite felt as good as it did the last. I struggled more than the last few times. But I still had the feeling, or at least I tried to push as hard as I could to ride out the same time as I did last time, as I had a strange feeling that today's ride wouldn't be as fast as the last time, not talking about improving the time by 50 seconds as I did the last time. And that feeling persisted throughout the whole ride, especially at the end. I felt that strange feeling when you are pushing your body too hard, where you almost get dizzy, where your stomach starts to ache. But I desperately wanted to improve my time. Therefore, I kept pushing even if my legs have been hurting. But to be honest, my legs felt like quitting right from the beginning. It was really strange as the last time when I crossed this particular section where my app would tell me how fast I was going, because the app I'm using, it's Endomondo. It's speaking out loud the distance and the time it took me to get there every kilometer. While taking that thought, the app was starting to tell me how fast I was going, so it was 19 and a few seconds. And the last time I knew I had time with 18 minutes something. So I knew I was already behind. And with knowing that I couldn't push harder than I did before, I already knew that it will be hard to beat that time. And in the end, I lost a few seconds while putting down my bike and trying to unlock my phone in order to stop the timer. But that's only a small amount of wasted time in that case. As last time, I had to wait until I was at home, because where the trail is located, the internet connection is quite bad, so I couldn't check the time I was riding the last time. At home, I compared the 2 times. So last time, I rode 20 minutes and 25 seconds. And today, 20 minutes and 50 seconds, so 25 seconds slower than the last time. While riding down, I didn't knew that I was slower, but I already could imagine that the time wasn't the best. I was thinking about what could have been the reason. So one is probably that I pushed too hard from the very beginning. Then there was slightly headwind, especially at the beginning. Not big of a deal, but it can make a difference of a few seconds. And what also could be is that yesterday was rest day. I went for a ride and I've probably done a too extensive ride, which means I've done twice the distance I would normally do during my lunch break. but it was still on the flat cycle path, but that was probably too much of strain for my legs while recovering. But those are only assumptions. Therefore, I will do the second type of interval training with 3 sets of 5 minutes of intense and 2 minutes of rest on a steep part. And I will see if today's, let's say, bad result is due to the type of interval training I've done, or if it was just today's performance, which wasn't good. After redoing the second type of interval training, I will try the third type of interval training again to have like 2 reference right to make further decisions. And before wrapping up this episode, I want to ask all my iOS listeners to go to iTunes. It only takes 1 minute, and search my podcast and rate it with 5 stars. That would help me out a lot, and it would help other mountain bikers interested in improving their performance to discover my podcast. Thank you so much for that, and until the next time.